some of the challenges.
The IGP's new intention that he plans to seek to shut down social media as part of security efforts. It hasn't got any support at all.
What kind of support are you talking about? Legal support?
I mean civil society, and I've heard all the political parties I've heard, except the NDC, have condemned that intention. Even the NDC, they haven't come out to support. It's just that they haven't condemned or approved. But civil society, other political parties, and so on. The last time Kofi Annan was here, he actually spoke about it and said that it will be a very backward event if it takes place. Yes, there are problems with social media, but there are problems with all media.
But if for a day, will it kill us?
I'm saying to you that there are problems with all media, isn't it?
It is.
In fact, the radio stations are even more dangerous than social media. You understand? Because the radio stations, somebody goes there and says something incendiary, and it immediately reaches 2-3 million people.
But at least we know that radio station is certain.
Yes, but it has.
But social media, it will take some time to identify who is behind it.
No. We're talking of the impact.
Yes.
Is that what I'm saying? In terms of impact for danger, the radio stations are worse. Wrong information can be put on the radio. So are you going to shut down the radio stations for that day? What you need to do is to find ways of limiting the danger. Social media, for example, like you said, these days, and I'm sure Kwabena will agree, he is more into ICT. You can trace the source of information on social media. You can, but it's not that easy. I know of a certain one instance where the police, when somebody put something on social media that was against the police, they managed to trace it. You know, 2 or 3 days ago, I heard somebody had gone and cloned something of the IGP, and
right.
But you can easily trace it. If the police don't have the technology, that's where we should be looking at, finding the technology and training the police to use the technology. 2 days ago, there was a letter on social media, on NPP letterhead, supposed to have been issued by me, saying that we are going to smear some NDC people and so on. And I had no idea of the letter. What gave the letter away? It was supposed to be an internal memo I had issued to NPP communicators. But you don't issue internal memo on letterhead. You understand, your communicators. You don't do that. So that's what gave it away. But otherwise, it was an NPP letterhead. And they said a campaign strategy for 2016. And we were going to, they said we had decided that the wager constituency, the NPP candidate was not likely to win. So we're going to target the NDC candidate for special attention. Can you imagine? And then some of the other people were going to put scandals on them. and I have no idea of saying, but it's an NPP letterhead. And it's supposed to be signed. There's no signature, but my name is under. I would wish that if I made a report to the police, they would be able to trace where that letter, where it came from. And then it would limit the ability of people to use social media. And so that's the direction that the police and the country should be going. Because if you say there's going to be if you say a media has a potential for trouble, so you are going to close it down, then you are going to close all media down, because all the media have a potential for misuse.
Nana, if this were on a radio station, if this letter you just told me about was on a radio station, wouldn't it have been easier for the party to quickly get the station to do the proper thing?
Somebody calls on telephone and says, my name is Kwabena Champong, and says something. You don't know if the person is Kwabena Champong, you don't see the face, you don't know whether it's true or not, and so on. How are you going to check that? But so it's a danger.
But the station has to verify before putting that information.
But you do call-ins, don't you? Even people sitting in your studio, live, people make incendiary statements, don't they? Yes. In your studios. But on live radio.
We know them, they are sitting right.
Yes, but they make them.
In case there's an issue, then we know where to point.
So I'm saying to you that if somebody said, look, there's a potential for television to be misused, so I'm going to close television down on election day.
Let me pick Honorable Kwabena Champong's thought on this. Nana has moved our conversation on from the closure of the ban on media, social media for a day. That's if that's the IGP saying that. He's suggesting that simply then close all other media because they have challenges too, they have problems too.
Well, I mean, this social media thing, I have a fundamental point that goes against it, in the sense that, look, a lot of the things that happen on social media happen with people using pseudonyms. So anybody who has a name posts something. It just spirals out, reaches so many people. As to the veracity of whatever the person has put there, we don't know. Most often than not, these things will go on for a long time before somebody would try to, unravel it. That is why the IGP is saying, if there is a need to do that, he will close down social media. Look, I don't do any social media. I don't do any social media. I still do my simple telephone calls, simple text. That's it. I don't have any social media on my phones. And I don't think I'm missing anything. Because, look, these are all creations of individuals and people. In a country like ours, where a simple word said even on a radio station can evoke passion and result in any inconsequential action, we need to be very careful how we use the social media. And that's what IGP is saying, that look, on election day, if I have to close it because there are issues concerning it, I'll do it. And I think we should give him the support, because at the end of the day, we are looking for the betterment of the whole country during that period of elections. It's a one-day thing. Now, if we close down social media for one day, what do we lose? The argument is, what do we gain? Yes, but in the same vein, when Nana spoke, everything he said was negative against social media. And yes, he supports the position that you cannot close it down. You understand? So for me, let's carry on this debate. But I think if there is a need to do it, the IGP, if he can do it, he should do it. Because you are not closing it down even for a day. It's for just a period of elections and declaration of results. That's it. Because the likelihood of people putting in things that will evoke passion and lead to people taking certain untoward actions is there. For instance, if they declare a polling station result and somebody goes to put in a different thing and spreads it across, by the time we get to the real results, somebody would have taken a certain line of action. Whether it's good or not bad, we don't know. So it's for us as a country to sit down and say, yes, we like our social media. But on this particular day, let us shut it down. Let's go through the normal ways we declare our election results. We count at the polling station, we declare it, it goes to the collation centers transmit it to Accra, it is announced. This time I even hear there's not going to be any strong group, which means it's going to be an open system. So for that election, if we should close it down, let's close it down and stick to the way we want to have our election results announced, the way we want our polling done. And that will be it. The next day, you can be back to social media. But by that time, you would have declared everything and done things in such a way that anybody who puts something new there will not carry the kind of weight that it deserves.
You are not worried about the traditional media, particularly the radio stations that
I'm not worried about
more dangerous than the social media?
They could be dangerous, but they are locatable. They are found in a certain area. Every radio station has a location. We can identify every radio station by its location. Can you identify every social media user by their locations? Those are the things that we need to deal with. A TV station can be found in an exact location. A radio station can be found in an exact location. But if I'm sitting in the confines of my bedroom somewhere and putting things out, who would find me? I might be found, but I would have done the damage before I'm found. So this is how we need to look at it and understand the position of the IGP on this.
People have businesses running on these social media too. You shut it down, and they are the losers.
Well, it's not a question of they are the loser. It's for that period. Yes, you have a business on social media. What business exactly are you doing on social media? You have to call people, talk to people, events and all those things. Yes, but for that particular day, it's important. Would you want your business to collapse as a result of the country going into upheaval, or would you want your business to survive just for that one day that it is saved? We need to look at the greater good and have this thing done carefully.
I'm grateful. Now, you want a quick reaction?
Yes,
Okay.
well, you know, Kwame Champong said that somebody will say something on radio, and then it would spread all over the place. But he's not asking for radio to be banned on election day.
He said you can locate it and take action if someone says something on it.
I'm saying that, but the thing would have been said already.
Yes.
Yes, but he's not asking for radio to be banned on election day. You see, you said the positives. Yes, social media has many positives, hasn't it? Otherwise, it would not have grown the way it has grown. So it has many positives, tremendous positives for information flow, for interaction, and so on. So it will have many positives for elections and beyond the elections. Same as radio, same as television. But it also has some potential negatives, and we've discussed some of the negatives here. The reason why I am highlighting the negatives is to say that there are solutions to those negatives. Otherwise, you end up throwing away the baby with the bathwater. you see, because radio too has negatives. Look, social media has been with us since 2000 elections, basically. Has social media, anybody called elections on social media? They called elections on radio. So, but you see, the central idea that banning, so you get up, say, I am this, so I'm going to ban this, I'm going to ban, is very dangerous, especially when it involves media. Because otherwise, somebody will get up and say, somebody has said something at TV3, I don't like it, so let's close down TV3. Yes, because you are going down that slippery slope.
You don't think that TV3 can check, for instance, Nana Kumio from making statements that are likely to cause chaos?
No.
So, for instance, you start making it, and then I decide to put off your microphone.
Exactly.
You haven't gotten
delayed dump systems.
You haven't gotten what I'm talking about.
Okay.
It's beyond you and Kwabena Champong or Nana Kumia. No. Do you get what I'm talking about? I'm talking of the bigger picture. Somebody deciding that I don't like what is going on at TV3, so I'm going to close it down. It's a much larger picture.
Yeah, but
that's what I'm saying.
Based on a reason. And the reason is that certain statements or certain things have been shown.
Yes.
But can't we decide not to show those things that perhaps would have caused the person to say that I'm going to close it down?
I'm saying that you can show something that you believe is good for the public.
I see.
Somebody can decide that, well, in my view, that thing is not good for the public, so I'm going to ban TV3. Do you see the danger? Do you see the larger danger?
I'm trying hard to get it.
Let me explain it to you again.
Okay.
Somebody may be watching this little discussion we're having. The person may decide, I didn't like the discussion. TV3 can be a danger to the elections, so I'm going to close it down.
Are there no rules for discussion? There are rules for discussion.
You see? Where are the rules?
The person doesn't like it, but there is a regulator. So he said, okay, regulator, I saw this on TV3 and I'm not happy. So let's sit down and talk about it.
You cannot just stand up and close the radio station.
The person will go to the regulator and say, I saw some discussion between Kwabena Champong and Nakumia. I didn't like the discussion.
So let's close that.
Regulator, please shut it down for
but it will be enumerated. We cannot just close it based on.
You see the larger danger.
Okay,
yes. So you should be cautious. And I'm saying that there are dangers with all the media. You understand? There's danger with radio is even more dangerous. Radio stations have called elections. Somebody will say, because this radio station called the elections in a manner that I did not like, I'm going to have it closed down. So because then you'll be taking the country down that slope. So tomorrow somebody else is in office, he says, this radio station, we don't like it. So let's close it down. Another person comes and say, I don't like that radio station, let's close it. So we have to be cautious when it comes to media. We should avoid arbitrary actions, and we should look at chaos, because all the media the positives outweigh the negatives. But there are still negatives. So let's look at ways of limiting the negatives and not be talking about bans.
I see.
But I'm saying as we speak, there is technology available to be able to trace negative things that happen on social media. Let the police develop the capacity now. Let them start doing it. Then it's a more progressive action than this business of I'm going to ban, I'm going to ban.
Before I get Kobe to react, Nana, the voter, the electoral commission, political parties, in fact, all stakeholders, which of them will lose out if social media is shut down for a day?
It's like asking who will lose out if radio is shut down for a day. Who will lose out if radio is shut down for a day? Yeah, it's the larger picture.
Sure?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, somebody will say, well, so let's say we say, okay, IGP says social media may be dangerous, so it's going to shut it down. Then the BNR director says, yeah, radio too may be dangerous, so let's shut it down too.
I see.
Is that what we want in the country?
For example, I see. But indeed, well, I don't know if you agree with Nana, but is this indeed the danger we see? Social media is shut down?
Well, I have a fundamental understanding of this. And it is very simple. When we shut down social media for a period, what do we lose?
That's a question I put Nana, and he suggests that perhaps we all lose out because it's like also asking radio and TV stations to also shut down. So
yes.
There's no information.
And even when we shut down all the media for a day, what do we lose?
No information.
That's it. No information. But it's for a certain period. You see, I understand the IGP's statement from a security point of view. But if the argument is that we shouldn't shut it down, fine. Let's leave it. But
let's look at the ways of...
Let's look at how to deal with this issue. Because for me...
With the problems.
Essentially, when you shut it down for that period, perhaps you get a modicum of peace. Because then you don't have to look at any other thing than what is... And we have tried and tested systems of declaring results from polling station to collation centers to district, then to the national. It's done. So if it is about that election, why don't we use the tried and tested systems in place?
Okay.
My little surprise is that every institution or personality I have heard speak on this matter condemn it, except the NDC. maybe the NDC would have everything to lose if social media plays. Because everybody I have heard on this matter, Journalists Association.
I heard Lord Evans suggesting
they have not
that
heard
it's
everybody.
not.
Who's that?
He's a journalist with the BNF. He says that indeed shutting down social media has advantages.
I've heard the Media Commission. I've heard experts in communication. I've heard Kofi Annan. I've heard civil society. I've heard political parties. Only the NDC, a major institution, says that it will be beneficial to them.
All right. Let's